Our first speaker tonight is Monty Lobb, and he will be talking about Ohio's Christian Chamber of Commerce. He is the executive director of the Christian Business Partnership, a statewide Christian chamber of commerce, a fellow at American Center for Civic Character, and owner of Kenosis Ltd., a consulting firm. Monty's prior experiences includes serving as executive director of the Business Innovation Center at Ohio Christian University, public defender in Fairfield County, associate professor of business at Mount Vernon Nazarene University, general counsel, assistant secretary of state, and chief of state at the Ohio Secretary of State Office, and deputy general counsel at the Ohio Treasury. Monty was president of CCV, then known as Citizens for Community Values, from 1989 to 1991, when it exposed the Mapplethorpe art exhibit in Cincinnati, launching it onto the national stage. Monty holds a law degree from the University of Dayton School of Law and a Bachelor of Arts in Finance and English from Olivet Nazarene University. Please welcome Monty Lobb.
Well, I want to thank, am I on? We're doing okay? I want to thank Betty, thank Dan for this opportunity. It's always good to be back home. I grew up here in Tri-County. I was on the Princeton School Board back in the 90s. And then a friend by the name of Ken Blackwell talked with Ken. I said, hey, I'd like to come work for you. So I moved to Columbus and worked for him for 11 years and then just stayed up in Columbus. So anytime I can get back down here, I always love it. I'll go stay with my folks tonight, just down the road. And when I'm near the root beer stand, it's just really very, very difficult. I grew up with that place. But thanks for coming out tonight. Thanks for coming out tonight. I want to talk to you about the Christian Business Partnership. But before I do that, in the time that I've got, I want to ask you a question. You ever hear somebody ask the question, hey, what do you do? What's your job? What do you do? And somebody may say, well, I'm a teacher, or, I'm an accountant, or I work at such and such a place. But have you ever heard anyone say that they're in the business of human flourishing? No, we really don't. But really, for those people that are in business, really, you could probably say anything, but particularly business, that is incredible. And there's an opportunity that's unlike anything else. The business sector is the most powerful entity devised to promote human flourishing. Think about that for a second. I mean, you may at first blush, you may say, well, what about the government? Well, the government can recommend things, right? The government can create laws. Can't cover everything. What about the religious community, churches? Well, obviously they teach and hopefully inspire people to do the right thing for the right reasons, right? But think about the business community in terms of their outreach and what they can do. And so this whole idea of human flourishing is a fascinating idea. And I just want to share a little bit about this with you. So Harvard, I'm not crazy about Harvard, but believe it or not, they have a program called the Human Flourishing Program. And Tyler Vanderweel is in charge of it. And he says that flourishing is a state in which all aspects of a person's life are good. Complete human well-being. Well, what does that look like a little bit more? Well, here are 4 different pathways that the program at Harvard identifies to human flourishing. Family, right? Very important. Work, education, and religious community. Now, all 4 of those talk about human flourishing domains, but tonight I want to talk about work for a second or two. So work, think about happiness and life satisfaction. Do people get happiness and life satisfaction out of their work? Well, if they've got a job that they like, right? If they're passionate about it. I've had jobs before where that was not the case. So it's probably more to the other extreme. But work can do that. It can create happiness and life satisfaction for us. I'm doing something that's meaningful. What about physical and mental health? You know, I work probably more with my brain, but like when I get to go and I get to work in my yard, I live in the woods. In Ohio, I figure if I can't live at the ocean, I can't live at the beach or the mountains, I'll take the woods. So I'm out there with my chainsaw and I'm working and doing all this thing. And at the end of the day, when I'm sweating and everything and I see what I've done, I'm good about that, you know, and it helps me mentally. And so work can help us physically and mentally in terms of like, oh, this is great. I'm active. I'm doing something meaningful. I'm helping people. Also, it provides meaning and purpose. It can. You know, sometimes you hear like, I've been called to this, right? Or this is what I was meant to do. And that's so important. And there's a lot of people that don't feel that way about their work. They don't find meaning or purpose in that. But God's created us in a way that work is very important. And we find that even in our society today, right? That there are able-bodied people who don't want to work. Or sometimes we have young men living in their parents' basement playing video games, and they don't find the need to want to work. But also, work can provide character and virtue. Boy, there's so many opportunities where do you do the right thing? Do you persevere in your work? Right? Character building hurts. It's not easy. It's not fun. But work is one of those places where it tests you. Sometimes you have to work with people that you wouldn't want to, right? You don't get a choice. You're put on a team. And it tests your character, your resolve, your ability to endure. So work has a way of testing us in terms of our character, our virtue. Also, a lot of times we have close friends from our work. Hey, let's go out after work. Let's go do this. Let's go bowling. Let's join kind of a league. Let's get together on the weekend. You know, if you thought how many friends maybe have you had from your work days, right? So close social relationships. And last but not least, financial material stability. Work can provide that. And so these are some ways that work leads to human flourishing. And we could talk about family, education, and religious community doing the same thing. But the Christian Business Partnership, what I'm about, is really trying to find men and women across the state of Ohio, get this, who understand this, that you know what, I'm an entrepreneur, or I work somewhere, or I'm the business owner, and I have an incredible opportunity. I've been blessed to bless others. And that's so important. And here's going back to that whole theme about business being like any other kind of institution. Think about this. Business owners particularly, they're involved in the private sector, the social sector, and the public sector. In the private sector, they're paying their employees, their staff wages, salaries, right? So they're contributing directly to their quality of life and their well-being. Business owners do that. But then also, they're paying taxes to the government. And so that's the public sector. Not only are they paying personal, but their businesses are paying corporate taxes. And so that money that goes to the government hopefully can come back and bless the community. But then last but not least, the social sector, the not-for-profit sector. Through tithes, through offerings, through charitable giving, donations, contributions, business owners bless our communities that way. So 3 different ways that people in business owners particularly, can bless the community and help the whole idea of human flourishing. Well, I wanted to share that with you because our organization, the Christian Business Partnership, like I mentioned, is all about that, okay? And we are a division of the Center for Christian Virtue, which was founded here in Cincinnati, moved to Columbus a number of years ago. And the center, ours, right here, the Christian Business Partnership, what we're about, well, see, I don't know if I can get, there we go. Our mission is to help businesses and people in the business world be able to practice their faith in the public square and there in the workplace. and then also advocate for free market enterprise philosophies and principles. So, for example, what I've done so far this year is our office is right across the street from the State House. So I've testified on DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, and saying that, you know what, that's a Trojan horse. It's not good. It sounds good, you know, but when you look behind the screen, what it does, it shames people. It tries to compromise people, shut them down so that they can't share their point of view. And so we felt like that, you know what, we needed to testify on that, both in front of the House and the Senate, and get that out of Ohio's public universities. And it did. The legislature passed that, and the governor signed that bill. I also testified on stopping the expansion of predatory gambling. These phones that we have, there were some lawmakers that what they wanted to do was put a virtual casino on your phone. And so basically what could happen is you'd have Las Vegas in your bedroom. You'd have Atlantic City in your dorm room. And you add AI to the equation now and follows people, and they'll check and, hey, we haven't seen you in a while. We'll give you free bets for this if you do this, this. And young men are on their phone constantly. And so what this would have done is continue to try to build Ohio's economy on the back of the poor, the addicted, and young men. And our organization, the Christian Business Partnership, said that's wrong. We should never build the economy that way. We should always hold in highest esteem people over money. And this is wrong. So we fought against that. We fought for the flat tax, making Ohio more competitive here in the Midwest, and not only try to retain businesses, but attract new businesses into Ohio. And so what's been passed is that Ohio is now like on a glide path that over the next 2 to 4 years will go to a 0% in state income tax. And so that makes us much more competitive than any other state in the Midwest. And we're hopeful that that will also boost Ohio in terms of business and bring people in and help business owners who are already here. So those are some of the things that we do. We advocate across the street in Columbus. But then also what we do, and we've got a table back here in the back, and I hope you'll take a look. Because for people that want to join the Christian Business Partnership, we have different benefits. So there are some people that need health insurance. There's some people that need workers' compensation or health and wellness benefits. Our organization has all of that, and we've been able to save a lot of our members thousands of dollars, particularly on the health insurance. And we do those kind of things. Also for businesses, let's say I only have like 1 or 2 people. Some people may need help with their payroll, or they may need education or training on sales or marketing or leadership. All those kind of things the Christian Business Partnership has. And last but not least, then what we do is we celebrate, because we have 6 different chapters around the state of Ohio. We've got one here in the Cincinnati area. Matter of fact, we're going to be over at Blue Ash next Tuesday from 6 to 7:30. You're welcome to join us over at Helium SEO. And what we're going to be doing with our members and people that want to come is, how do you share your faith at work? How do you do that? How do you live it out? And we've had Congressman Warren Davidson come and talk about the budget. We've done fun things for networking and all that. We've had judges come and speak. And last week, we just had an essential summit in Columbus. A guy named Willie Robertson came and spoke. We had over 700 people from the state of Ohio come to that. So the Christian Business Partnership and our parent, the Center for Christian Virtue, are very big on terms of trying to educate people and what's going on with legislation, the economy, things like this. And so I hope you'll take a look and come see us. Like I said, we meet around the state 3 or 4 times a year. We have different events in Columbus. We've got a tax accountant and some other people that are going to talk about the One Big Beautiful Bill at the, November 6th up in Columbus, a tax accountant. and break it down, get into the weeds in terms of, okay, what does it actually do for businesses and other kind of people? So unlike the state chamber of commerce that's gone woke, we've not done that. We've stayed true to these Judeo-Christian principles and free market economic principles. I'll close with this thought. There was a guy by the name of Dr. Michael Novak. He was a laureate with the American Enterprise Institute, passed away just 2-3 years ago. But he said the thing that made America unique was that America is like a three-legged stool. One leg is that we're a constitutional republic, okay? Well, there are other nations now that are constitutional republics, but we're the first, we're the longest running one. Second, we believe in free market economics, all right? No more government than you need, no more regulations than you need. Let the market sort these kind of things out. Well, there are other nations that believe in that too. But the third thing is that we're founded on a moral consensus. We believe in self-government, that we ought to be able to govern ourselves. A guy named Chuck Colson said, in society, you can have more character or more cop. So when people are able to govern themselves and they have more character, moral virtue, less need for regulations and cops. So when you put a moral consensus, free market economics, and you put a constitutional republic together, America is very unique. And that's why it's been exceptional. And so we need to stay on the vanguard of those kind of things, and particularly in the business world with human flourishing. We have an opportunity to make a contribution to our community, to the state of Ohio. So I'll be around afterward tonight if you want to come back and look at our material or sign up. We'd love for you to do it. But thanks for being here tonight.